Welcome to another session of INF154. In this session, we are going to focus on part 2 of methods. This is going to be a very short session. So we are going to start with the string methods. So we know that a string is an array of characters, or it's a sequence of characters. So it has the length property. So the length property returns the number of characters in a string. So as an example, let me just use an online compiler. So let's say we have a string. Let me say we have a string name equals to, I don't know, online, whatever. So if I say, this is similar to message box, whatever. For example, let's say int L equals to name.length. Then I'm going to display L console.log. Don't bother much about console.log. Focus on this .length. So I want to display the result. So the length of the string is, then I'm going to say L. So let's see how is this going to work. So L name.length will return the number of characters. So in this case, our name has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So we expect the result, or L, the value of L, to be 6. Let's see if that's the case. So if I run this, I get 6. Even if I change this, maybe I say hello, then I say world. So now my name.length will contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 characters. So the space is included. So if I execute this, I'm going to have 11. This was a miscalculation. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 11 characters. I miscalculated, so it's 11. Even if I put a new line, maybe hello, new line, next. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then /n is a single character. So this is gonna be 6. It's a single character. Then 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is going to be 10. Let's see if that's the case. So we get 10. So .length, it's simple. It returns the number of characters in a string. So let's go to another property, which is the to upper and to lower methods. So to upper makes all characters uppercase, and to lower method makes all characters lowercase. So that's straightforward. For example, let me just say name is equals to let's say online, whatever, or let me just do this online. Then I say string result equals to name dot to upper, like this. So what's going to happen? We are going to print the original. So we want to say name is equals to, or let me say name is equals to, then I'm going to say plus the original name. Then I'm going to print again. Let me just say this. Then I'm going to say result is equals to, then plus result. So let's see. This is going to take a copy of this and convert it to uppercase. Notice that it doesn't affect the original name. It's going to take a copy of this and convert all characters to uppercase. Then it's going to store the result inside this res variable. So the name will remain as online, but this result will contain online but with uppercase characters. So let's see if that's the case. So the original name didn't change, then the result, it's the original it's the original name but converted to upper characters. So that was the case with those ones. Let me do this. Let me close here. So this thing doesn't want to close. Oh, okay, it did close. So now let's consider to lower does the opposite. So it converts all the characters to lower characters. For example, if I change this, then put it like this. So the original name won't be affected, but the result will store this but converted to lower. Now I'm using to lower. So this will convert that to lowercase letters like that. So everything is converted to lower. If I wanted to change the original name, I was supposed to say name is equals to name dot to lower. This will affect the original name like that. So now we can consider another method, which is the substring method. So the substring method, according to them, they say it gets a substring from a string. So it gets like sort of some part of a string from like a long string starting at a specific position. So they say it's zero based for a certain length. So let's see how this works. So let's say I have a string here. Let's say string maybe word equals to, let's say program. Then I'm going to say string result equals to word dot substring. So dot substring, then I'm going to say 0, let's say 4. How does this work? Then let me print the result. So I'm going to print like this, the original word. So I'm going to say word equals to, then I'm going to say word, and I'm going to print the result. So result equals to, then I'm going to say result, then I'm going to execute this. Let's see how this works. So the substring, it's going to, this is the start index. So the first parameter that you pass to the substring is the starting index. So 0 refers, so 0 in this case refers to the start index. Then 4, the second parameter, or 4 in this case, refers to the number of characters. Number of characters, or you can say the length of the substring. The length of the substring. So let's see how this works. So it's going to go, we know that P it's at position 0, R is at position 1. We know that a string is an array of characters. So we start at position 0. So P is at position 0, R position 1, and so on. So the start index in this case, it's P because it's 0. So we are going to start counting from P. How many times? 4 times. So it's going to be P, which is 1, then 2, 3, 4. So we started counting from 0. Then we count how many times? 4 times. So it must be PROG. So we got that PROG here. So what if I say, okay, let me say position, let's say for example 2. So when you say position 2, it's going, the start index now is going to be what? 2. The length of the string won't change, is going to be 4, since I didn't change it. So we are going to go to positions 2. And remember, they said it's a 0 based. So we know what's the meaning of 0 based. So we are going to say 0, it's P, 1, it's R, then 2, it's O. So we are going to start counting from O. how many times? 4 times. So we are going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I mean, we are starting at O. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it must be OGRA. So let's see if that's the case. So we get OGRA. So in simple terms, this 2 is the start index, then this 4 is the number of characters or the length of the string. So that's why I was counting from position 0, it's O. Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 characters like that. So what if I say 4, then I say 6? Now, if I try to count from position 2, we know that it's O. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 6 goes outside the string. So it's an exception. So it's a logical error, index out of bounds exception. So let's execute this. So the code is going to crash. Argument out of range exception. So index and length must refer to a location within the string. So you must make sure that whenever you are counting, you don't exceed the last index. So that was the substring method. It's straightforward. Start index, then the number of characters. Then let's go to the next one. So the next one is replace. So replace, it replaces all occurrences of a character in a string with another character. So let's see how it works. Let's say you have a string, for example, you have word equals to, let's say, characters. So you have characters like that. Then I want to use the replace. So string result equals to, let's say, replace. I mean word dot replace. So notice that the characters, you put them inside double quotation marks if they are literals, if they are values. If it's a variable, you will see how you handle it. You put it without quotation marks. So let's say I want to replace A with a hash. So I'm going to put A. So the first parameter refers to the character that we are looking for. So it's going to search wherever we see A, we are going to replace it with another character. For example, let me put hash. So this means wherever you see A, remove it and put what? And put hash. So here I see A, I'm going to put hash. Here I see A, I'm going to put hash. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to say I'm going to display, so console.write line, then I'm going to say result equals to, or let me start with the original word equals to, then I'm going to say plus word, like that. Then again console.write line, then I'm going to say result equals to, then I'm going to say result. Then let's execute this and see how it works. So you see the original one is not affected. The original word is affected when you are using equals to only. But when you say word dot replace, it doesn't affect the original word. So then the result will store, you see wherever there's A, you have these hashes. So it's straightforward, it's not that difficult. So what if you had a letter, string letter is equals to, let's say C. We want to replace letter by something. So here I'm going to put letter without quotation marks because letter is a variable. So there's no need for you to put quotation marks. So when I execute this, it's going to look for letter. What's the value of letter? The value of letter is C. So it's going, wherever I see C, I'm going to replace it with what? With hashes. So let's see how it works. Again, this is the result. Remember, if I wanted to change the original word, I was going to say word equals to word dot replace, then letter, whatever. Then the variable will only change when I use equals to. If I don't use equals to, the original variable won't change. So that's how it works. Now we can go to the other one. So the other one is index of. So index of finds the first index of a character in the string. So in simple terms, it finds the index of the first occurrence of a specific character in a string. For example, let's say you have a word characters, then I say int index equals to word dot index of, then I say maybe C. So C occurs for the first time at position what? At position 0. So the result must be 0 if I want to print this. So then I'm going to say, okay, the index of C is at, then I'm going to say index like that. So let's see if that's the case. So it occurs at position 0. If I change this to, let's say, A, so A, the first time A appears, it's at 0, 1, 2. So it's at position 2. Let's run this. So it's going to be at position 2 and so on. So the index of returns the first position where a specific character occurs. So that's the idea of these string methods. So other defined methods, what are they? Let me check. Let me do this. So other user defined methods are the round, which you are used to. So this one returns like it just rounds off. For example, you put the value, then you put the number of decimal places. You've been doing this for the whole semester now. Then we have the square root, which returns the square root of a value. For example, you say math dot square root or sqrt, it will return the square root of that specific value. Then defining our own methods, we did that. So yeah, I guess that's it about this week. And the last part is display using the open file dialog. So you can use the open file dialog to load contents to a rich text box, or you can use the open file dialog to save contents from a rich text box to a file. So let me check for that specific example. So let me say load. So this is the general process. So to load contents from a file to a rich text box, you have to display the open file dialog. So you just say OFD, then the name of the file of the open file dialog dot show dialog. That's how you display an open file dialog. Then this was the line. Then to load the contents of the selected file to a rich text box, just put the name of the rich text box, then you say dot load file. Then you just say the name of the file dialog dot file name. So the only thing that changes is the name of the rich text box and the name of the open file dialog. Other than that, the code is just the same. Then for the saving is the same. So you just do your save file dialog, you display the save file dialog, then you are going to use the rich text box, then you say save file then you just put the name of the save file dialog, then you just say file name. So that's the general idea. And notice that the file is saved as RTF. So it's not a text file, it's just an RTF file. Even to load the file, it must be .rtf. So yeah, I think that's all for this session, or not. Let me check, what am I missing under methods. Again, we have the font dialog control, which is used to select fonts. Again, it works the same. You have to display that font dialog control, then you have to load that specific font. You can load it to a button, you can load it to a text box. It works the same. RTX text whatever dot font, it can be txt what dot font equals to, then you just say file dialog, font dialog, the name of the font dialog, then you say dot font. So there's nothing much with this specific methods.